The fantasy football playoffs are right around the corner. And I'll be most likely watching from my couch. Grossi Posse Packer Nation. Welcome to an episode of Packcast, the podcast where we don't do a Packers fan, but it sure does help. I am your host, Tom Zero to Hero, hopefully Grossi, and we'll be breaking down the Week 12 fantasy studs and duds for this week. In both my leagues last week, I split, so I lost one. And I was this close. I was like 5 points away from winning, but Tyreek Hill got injured and put up a big fat goose egg, and so I lost, and so that feels real good. So in the Packcast League, I'm currently in 5th place, and then Packcast Numero Dos, I won, but I'm pretty sure I dropped down to 6th place. I don't know how that math works, but the fantasy gods hate me. So listen, I got a couple weeks to get back into playoff contention, and if not, then I'm just going to silently weep. Should have taken my own advice on this show. But let's break down 3 studs for Week 12 in the NFL. The first one, I got the Falcons Defense. Yeah, that's right, folks. 1 time is an anomaly. 2 times is, okay, maybe it happened again. Here comes 3 times against the Buccaneers. The Falcons Defense has been dominant against first the Saints, then the Panthers, and now they're looking to continue their reign of terror on the NFC South by going against the Buccaneers. While the Buccaneers have usually scored a good amount of points, they have Jameis Winston as their quarterback, who just threw 4 interceptions against the Saints last week. I gotta think that the Falcons defense is gonna make his life a living hell, and obviously, due to the Falcons sucking all year, their defense is still around in a lot of leagues, so if you need a defense for, this week, if you're dumpster diving for defenses, I would definitely give the Falcons defense a look-see. Hopefully you'll get some points and, Jameis Winston will provide you with some turnovers. Then, number 2, you have Kareem Hunt going up against the Dolphins. Nick Chubb is obviously the number 1 back over in Cleveland, but Kareem Hunt has slowly been getting more carries and more targets, and I think he's going to continue that against the Dolphins this week. Now, I stashed him away at the beginning of the year, leaving him on the bench, and thankfully I have enough depth that I don't need to play him. But if he's still around in your league, or you've been stashing him for a rainy day, it might be good to have him come out this week against the Dolphins, so he should get plenty of production. Then number 3, sticking with the running backs. I know he didn't really do anything last week, even though he got a bunch of carries. I think 14 if I'm not mistaken, and that is, he's been on this list a bunch. Chicago's running back, David Montgomery, going against the Giants. While obviously the Bears' offense is sputtering like a car that has 300,000 miles on it, David Montgomery still has been getting at least some decent production over the past few weeks. And going against the Giants, it's always a good look considering how terrible their defense, secondary, and just overall team is. Then you have the sleeper of the weekend. That is Raiders QB Derek Carr going against the Jets. Carr is available in the majority of leagues that I see, and Carr will be a nice pickup. And again, he's not blowing anybody away, but going up against the Jets' terrible secondary, I think he'll be able to carve him up for some good points. Obviously, Josh Jacobs should have himself a day, but I think Derek Carr is a safe bet here if your QB is on a bye. Then moving on to the duds of the week. We have the Indianapolis Colts defense going up against the Houston Texans. The Texans only putting up 7 points against the Ravens last week, but I do not expect there to be a repeat performance of that abysmal display of an offense, and I think the Colts defense, while I think they'll still do pretty well, I think Deshaun Watson is going to have himself a good game, or at least a rebound game, and I'd be a little weary about playing that Colts defense. Then, going on to number 2, that is Jaguars running back Leonard Fournette. Good God, Fournette, why are you so bad? Why are you so bad? yeah, this guy is officially in full-blown dud territory. I don't trust him anymore. The guy just hasn't been productive all year. Definitely not last week, and I don't think he's going to continue that against the Titans. Even if he does, though, he's too risky for me. With the playoffs being this close, I don't trust him. And then number 3, you have Rams QB Jared Goff. The Ravens defense has been dominant over the past few weeks, but even if they weren't, Jared Goff has been abysmal. He has been awful. He's barely getting any freaking touchdowns, and he just really is just inaccurate. It's ugly. It's really ugly. The LA offense has just not been firing at all this year. They've never really established the run game, and they sure as hell can't get it going with Jared Goff, and so I do not trust him against a good Ravens defense on Monday night. But let me know what you think down in the comments below. Who are your studs and duds for the week, and how you doing in your fantasy league? Let me know. You could always find me at TomGrossiComedy.com or at TomGrossiComedy on all social media you see down below. Check out podcasts on SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play Music, Spotify, and of course YouTube. And a big shout out and thank you to all the Patreon members over at patreon.com/TomGrossiComedy. But thank you so much for watching. I'm Tom Grossi, and as always, go Pack Go.